We'll start over.
Let's start over. Shit.
And that's a wrap. Oh shit, why isn't this light blinking?
We're done.
Oh, shit. Okay, hold
See you
please.
next Thursday.
Well, now we're recording, and it's what the hell are we going to call this damn podcast? Yeah,
We're gonna call
it's recording now, but before I didn't have the video recording, so we had to start over.
47 minutes later.
Well, it's a good thing that I looked up and I saw, and I was like, Jeff, you had a really great little intro there, and my apologies for not catching it.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to duplicate. That was like on the money.
I know.
It's good because I can duplicate it because I target these for sale by owners a lot. It stands for, like I said, a fastest source of business opportunity. The last thing you want to do as a licensed real estate agent, as most realtors know, is you don't want to chase leads. Chasing leads will just stress you out and just kind of leave you there just hanging on and just waiting for somebody to respond. So why not just call people who are online right now, you know, on Zillow, Realtor.com, you know, maybe another website or something like that. These people are actually raising their hands saying, hey, I want to sell my house and I want to save money. So why not target them and, you know, provide a high level of service to them to where potentially the other commission is doesn't really even come into play. I mean, as long as you price the property right, you get it standing tall, you want to put it in front of as many buyers' eyes as possible. You know, it's a good way to get business, and if you provide that high level of service to these people, you know, as real estate goes and all that.
Did you rehearse this prior to coming?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
Okay, let's be real. Most FSBOs for sale by owners
He got a
think
copy
they're
of it.
think they're think they're saving money, but are they also setting themselves and the buyer up for financial flop? And so obviously today that's what we're going to be talking about is for sale by owners. And why we have a lender here, well, we're going to find that out. And Scott Simpson is with Interest Mortgage, and he is the bomb when it comes to lending. Jeff and I have used him several times for lending, that is, for lending. But I have a series of questions for both of them. Jeff is known in our office as the FSBO guru. He gets on that phone and hustles 3 to 4 times a week, making sure that he's calling all those FSBOs, and so that's what we're gonna focus on today, and try not to be too serious, y'all.
No, it's fine. We won't.
So what made you crazy enough, Jeff, to actually call FSBOs? Like, why most agents avoid FSBOs like the plague?
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of background about myself. I worked in the mortgage side. I took some applications for a company up in Ohio from 2016 to 18, roughly. I was still in the service industry. And my main title at the business, at the mortgage, I was like a business relations manager. I was cold calling realtors to set up coffee appointments for my old employer, and when he met with them to get coffee, if they sent him business, he would send me an incentive on the back end with, you know, me formally introducing them. So long story short, I worked there for 6 months. I was still working in the restaurant business. And an agent, real big top producing agent in the area named Michelle Namo reached out to me, and she said, hey, I got a business idea for you. Do you want a cold call for sale by owners and expired listings? I said, yeah, that's fine. I'll give it a shot. Well, anyway, she lined me up with a coach. He's actually a worldwide pastor now, and he had his license for 4 years. Long story short, he sent all 3 of his kids through college through the money he made off for sale by owners. So, you know, the reason why I really focus on these people, number one, one of my goals in 2026 is to be strictly a listing agent. I mean, you can sell a house sitting on a beach, having a cocktail, whatever you're doing.
True that. When you're a buyer's agent, you're kind of...
You're running.
You are.
And I've done, Zillow leads. Scott's partnered up with me on it. We made money on them. You know, I've got some past clients from that. But You know, it's, real estate is not easy. It's very rewarding, but, you know, when I meet clients and I tell them, you know, I'm not in this business to make money. I don't want to sell you a house you kind of like. I want to sell you a house you love. I don't care how long it takes. So long story short, I've just gotten over, you know, Zillow is a free lead source. They have their phone number on them. And, you know, when you approach these people, there's something called reverse selling. So you call them and talk to them, like they're your friend, and number two, you want them to think that they are doing the right thing.
What about, so I've also read about, you know, Zillow not allowing any listings on their site if it's not represented by an agent. So are they going to continue doing that? Would be something that we're going to have to look into. And I think it came from, was it Compass or one of the
lawsuits or something.
Can we mute, please?
I know, I'm like, I didn't know if it was gonna keep going.
It's all good. It's all good.
We have a visitor that joined us.
We do.
Hey,
And
guys.
she's not micing up today, but
And
we
she
try to
has a
get her
bunch
to
of
do it.
unread emails, obviously, because they're all.
Yeah, ding 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 ding.
I was teaching somebody how to dot loop
Her name's
out there, and she's like 80, you know, like,
Oh.
so she just did it.
So yeah, woohoo! Kara was teaching. She was teaching one of her clients how to digi site, I guess maybe
Sorry.
dot loop site.
Once we, you know, once we start talking a little bit more, and I'll get down into my script and kind of show you how to approach these people, because a lot of them are.
You crack me up how you say these people.
Yeah,
They're
these-
different
as I should, let me correct that in a more professional way. These prospects, and how we can actually help them. And you know, a house is somebody's biggest asset they have.
I know.
And you know, I understand if you want to sell like a tractor on your own or anything like that, but you know, when it comes to selling the biggest asset you have in your entire life, why wouldn't you? You know, if you want to do for somebody, go for it. But if you don't have an offer or anything like that within 2 weeks, you really got to start interviewing agents. And what's also very, very important is, you know, what doesn't make sense to me is, this is very important. Why would you pay a buyer's agent to not look out for your best interest? And number two, they don't even care how much equity you have in the house. So why would you pay somebody a certain percentage that doesn't care about you, your house, or the money you built up? It just doesn't make sense.
I agree. As an agent, I get that. And you know what, Scott? What is the biggest financing issue you see when someone is buying with a for sale by owner?
The financing doesn't change that much based on whether the house is listed or a FSBO. There's a lot of back end things that do come up. It's one, most importantly, is the seller is not represented by anybody, obviously. So there's things that we, depending on the loan, need done or need provided by the seller that a lot of times they're just clueless about because they're not in the business. They don't know that they're, hey, am I supposed to have this disclosure? Who do I do for this? Who do I hire to do this? And a lot of times it ends up falling on, you know, the buyer's agent to do double
To deal
the
with
work.
it, right? Yeah,
Because
double the work.
They're not, they don't have someone on the other side who's used to facilitating the transaction. So they're always,
Right.
and I think like you guys probably know on the listing side, when you're listing a house, aside from everything else you do, you're managing expectations. You're setting the table on what is expected of a seller at these different levels, whether it's preparing them for the possible home inspection, the appraisal, things that come up, the property disclosure, condition
Right.
report.
Right.
So if it's
And
not,
you know, a FSBO is not going to like the word appraisal.
no, they think there's always, you know, again, I don't want to stereotype every single one is the same, but generally they've got their guard up. They think there's someone out to get them. They think something's going to go wrong. You know,
Right.
So unless things are done, very rarely in the FSBOs that I've dealt with on the financing side, very rarely are they're never a huge problem, but
Even with the appraisals part of things, do you think that, I mean, they don't have...
Well, I'll be honest with you, I think, and it's probably something we'll get up to later, but a lot of people that list on their own probably don't, they might think they know what their house is worth. A lot of times the appraisals are coming a lot higher than what their sales price is.
So they're not
honestly,
listening.
great.
They're not listening to Zillow and the Zestimate on
So,
Zillow, right?
A lot of times the appraisal might come in $20,000-$30,000 higher.
Mm-hmm.
Great for us, great for the buyer. It eliminates that variable.
Right, but it sucks for the seller
Yeah.
because they didn't use an agent that to do
And
comparables.
obviously,
Yeah.
you know, we don't have to share that with them, and then just hey,
Right.
give me that.
Yeah, it's not. You don't have to disclose. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times it's as far as the difficulty on the lending side when you're dealing with an unrepresented seller, is just it's a little slower process, it's a little more cumbersome because they're not used to doing or providing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Yeah, well, that's a good answer. Good answer, Scott. Good answer.
Good info.
Yes.
Sounds like a fire alarm.
It was the wrong one.
Oh well, we're
So-
still trying to.
I know, we're still trying to.
program.
She's like Jim Cramer on Mad Money with these buttons.
I forgot which one was this time because I put the beep, the sensor in because we try not to
Does
F
one
bomb.
drop water on us if we're talking?
Yeah,
Something
we
like
try not to
sheet
F
flip up?
bomb while we're doing this, and if I catch you, that's what that sound is for. But
Okay.
applaud,
Yeah.
right?
Is
And
like
then-
confetti gonna fall?
Yeah. Well, we hope not. We hope not.
Jeff and his chairs go flying backwards or something if we don't say that.
Here it comes.
Hey, Jeff, so what is your success rate? Roughly how many calls have you made to take at least one land to list, one landing that you listed?
I usually do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Back in the days, it started at 8, but I feel like I got more responses a little later on. So now I usually hit the phones. Typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I might do a Sunday call session, and it's not long. It's only about 10 to 12 roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Out of all those, how many of you had your conversion with spending time calling?
right now I have 4 in the pipeline. Through
Nice.
my career, I really started focusing on it this year, a little bit last year, but through my career I've listed 6 for sub-owners.
Nice.
Would you say that phone, I know it's probably you're limited in the methods you communicate with, either phone call, sending something through the mail, you may or may not have an email address depending on how it's listed. I'm imagining these people are getting bombarded with,
Sure.
and they're trying to sell the house. Do you think like literally picking up the phone and dialing is the most effective? Have you found that over the years, or?
Yes.
Not
Because
door
people-
knocking, not walking up and knocking on the door?
No, I think,
A lot of people don't want to put in the effort to call. They don't like rejection.
well,
So
I'll just
sending a note in the mail is the easiest way. That's probably the least effective.
I'll tell you the
Yeah.
stats. Take a guess on how many people prospect for sub-owners expireds in the real estate industry. Take a guess.
I would
Like a
say,
percentage?
yeah, I would say maybe 2 or 3% take the
7.
time to do it.
Between 2 and 4%, because A, they're scared of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, they don't know the scripts, and it's not just reading something. You have to literally read the script that you want to use and actually memorize it. So it
Do you
doesn't
flub up
sound
every
like-
now and then when you call them and you're like,
No.
no? That's good. I find it more of being able to be spontaneous. I mean, I've
Well-
called a few because if I have a script and for me, that
I think
just for me.
I think what you mean is, yeah, you obviously have your points and your talking points, but you got to come off as a person, not a
Right.
robo-caller with reading a piece of paper to, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Home Seller.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want
Right.
to come off as that.
Well,
person.
and everybody wants to save a buck, but what's the real cost of skipping the pros, you know? I mean, Scott, have you worked with buyers trying to purchase a for sale by owner without an agent?
Without
And how does that usually go? Is it smooth sailing or is it a train wreck or?
Generally, if it's something like that, it's usually a train wreck. It's people that, it's like the people, hey, I'm trying to find a foreclosure, or I'm trying to find a pre-foreclosure. It's like, because they read something online that they're going to save a bunch of money. The ones I've been involved with, if they're not represented on either side, it's generally, hey, I'm buying this house off a family member, or I'm buying, it's something, or a close work relationship, and they've agreed on a price, and it's been more of a friendly, the people know each other, they're comfortable when they do it. Rarely is it, we've got a pre-approved buyer, unrepresented, which generally doesn't happen, and then they go out and find their own. Because, like we always told them, like, it's just like buying new construction, whatever. We always tell people, if people do come to us before they're working with an agent, it's okay now. you're pre-approved, we went over the loan stuff. Do you have an agent you work with? Would you like us to recommend one to you? Like, it's just assumed like that's what you should do. Why are you doing
And
this on your
who
own?
would you pick, Scott?
Well, usually Kara, but she left, so
That's fine.
I would say Jeff or Claudia.
Yeah, good answer. Do they normally make it to the finish line?
We'll have to edit this every time so I can
Yeah,
name every
exactly. So with your FSBO deals, do they make it to the finish line?
Generally, it's, yeah, I don't, like I said, there's probably more of a hassle. I think the risk to the FSBOs isn't necessarily the financing end of things. The risk to the for sale by owner seller is one, value is, are they getting the right price? That's the obvious. And they think they're saving money, but we can go to that, they're probably not. Two, I think, is the potential legal problems down the road. You know,
Right.
like we always say, it's something's not a problem until it's a problem, and then it becomes a problem. Everything with, like a property disclosure report.
Right.
We don't need that on the lending side. We don't need to see it, we don't care. They don't provide one to the seller, the buyer,
Yeah,
and something
that's-
goes wrong a year later that they maybe found out that they didn't disclose.
State requires it.
Yeah.
State requires
To
it.
the buyer, and let's
Yeah.
say they're 6 months after they buy the house, the basement's caving in, and they supposedly knew there was a foundation problem that didn't come up on an appraisal or whatever it is.
Right, right.
And then what? Well, who's pointing the finger at who? Who's gonna go sue who? Like,
Well, that's just
You know.
it, and it's like when you're being, Jeff, I don't know if you'll agree with me in this or not, but when you're a dual agent and you're representing both sides, it is extremely difficult, and I've done that before. And so, and with FSBOs, in a sense, you're kind of doing that, even though your obligation, your fiduciary duties are to the seller, but yet you're doing double. Sometimes you might be doing double the work,
Sure.
especially if that buyer's not represented, right? So how do you struggle with making sure that you don't cross that line, especially with your for sale by owners that you list, that if the buyer's not represented by an agent and you're doing both, how do you balance that out? How do you balance that out?
I mean, part of my for sale by owner, when I go on an appointment, number one, once I reach their doorstep, I always ask if they want me to take off my shoes.
You're so polite. You
No.
didn't ask when you came to my house.
Sorry. Number two,
My house is lived
there was
in.
a dog jumped on him.
I know, that's true that.
Number-
He probably did.
right. Number two, obviously I asked them to walk through the house, with me and just describe any updates they've done. And then I always just ask hey, after you walk me through the house, do you want to sit down with me and I can go through everything with you that I do to get homes sold, and then just see what they want to do. And my listing's about 30 minutes to an hour. Long story short, something that I have developed when I meet with these people is I offer a seller incentive program, which simply means so there's a couple different compensation structures. I know I'm kind of just talking, Claudia, off your question about
It's
minutes
okay.
here, but
I just-
number one.
I'll reel you back in there, Jeff. I'll reel you back in.
Number one, my seller incentive program, I do charge typically 3%. Of course, they do have they have the.
What if they
Just say-
argue with you saying that, they don't want to pay that commission? They don't
And-
want to do that.
and-
That's money out of their pocket.
And like I said, I'll work with them,
Mhm.
and so I charge 3%. I show them everything I do. I also will get your home professionally cleaned by a company that I will pay for. Number two, if I do pick up an unrepresented buyer, most agents are going to charge you 6% because they're going to ask for 3% of the purchase contract. I'll represent both sides for 4%.
4, wow.
Number three, based on some research I've done, dual agency, when you get a listing, it's between 8 and 11% that you would pick up that buyer. Number three, the other part of my seller incentive program I do is we can still treat it like a FSBO, which simply means Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, you can go out into the marketplace, and if you run into somebody at Waltz or Kroger or whatever, and you tell them you're selling your house and they want to buy it and they're ready to go, I'll do both sides of the paperwork for 1%. So long story short, back to Claudine's question, you got to set the expectation. There's a big chance that dual agency will happen.
Yes, especially with the for sale by owner.
Absolutely.
Huge. Yep.
And if they don't decide to list with you, I tell people like they should interview other agents. But, you know, if I can get them to go
That's
ahead and
confidence right there, folks.
If I can-
I love it. I love it.
But if I can get them to go ahead and sign with me,
Yeah.
I ran all the numbers with them, everything makes sense, they're happy with their cash to close. Let's go ahead and sign, and then they can still interview the other agents. Say 3 other agents come in and they don't like what they said compared to me. What's cool is we can still work with them because they can bring the buyer.
Correct. Yeah. That's
I think a good point you made, Jeff. I think that, you know, again, I think most for sale by owners, the reason they're exploring that is they're concerned, you know, they're apprehensive about being locked down to an agent. They're apprehensive about giving up a certain amount of money. What if I sell the house on my own outside of you? What if they're, you know, what if one of them's a talkative person, they sell it at Kroger?
well,
You know,
yeah,
what I'm
and
saying
they
is-
you even said the majority of the times when they're getting their appraisal back, it's 20,
Yeah.
30,000 under.
But I guess the, you know, the pride.
There's their money right there.
What helps you put their guard down a little bit is, hey, if you end up selling on your own, even though I'm listing it, you can still get out for that, you know, a lot lesser commission or money on their part.
Right.
That's why I came up with the seller incentive program. Another thing I do, I would say a majority of agents, they're gonna tie you down to a 6 or 12 month exclusive contract. Something that sets me apart, I do a non-handcuffed listing agreement. They're 4 months long, and what that simply means is, for whatever reason, if you feel like I'm not communicating with you or providing the highest level of service to me, simply call me up and you can fire me, and then I would hope you can tell me what I did wrong. You know, it's, for sale by owners, yes, they're trying to escape another, I don't call it commission, I call it service fee. They're trying to escape that other service fee, but what is more important, and I asked them this question if I have the time to do it, is not offering an incentive or netting the most money. What's the ultimate goal? Do you want to close on this house and tell your friends you sold it by owner? Or do you want to close on this house and tell your friends how much you sold this for?
Right.
Yeah, it's all got to boil down to the seller is how much am I going to walk away with?
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, not to jump around, but the seller, you know, the seller, a lot of times they're misinformed. We see it all the time. Is where, you know, especially if their listing agent will say he's not that experienced or maybe not that good of an agent. We've all seen it.
Well, yeah, where they had listed with an agent, they got a bad taste in their mouth, and I've had for sale by owners that have done this, that it's like, I'm done.
We've had
I'm
it,
done.
you know, where we're on the buying side with you guys, and then, you know, we get ready to close, and then we find out, oh, the seller didn't know they had to bring money to the closing, or the seller thought they were getting X, and they're only getting.
And
this.
that brings me to my question for
way off from
you.
the fund,
Yeah, it's just like, well, for both of you really, is how many times have you found yourself explaining basic real estate to
Well,
the sellers?
Yeah, it's basic real estate math. I mean, to me, I know there's a few, anytime you say something, there's always someone, you know, well, what about this little thing? But for the very basics, like your sales price, if you're the seller, obviously, what's my, and everybody probably has different worksheets, different things they use. But quite simply, it's obviously your sales price, less any commission, less your mortgage or
Right.
lines of credit, stuff that you have, liens on your house.
Yeah, you gotta pay for your deed,
Tax
transfer.
proration credits, you
Right.
know, the tax, and then, you know, there could be, there's a few minor title fees and recording fees that you pay as a seller, but it's pretty basic. And it's amazing to me how many people
Don't know that.
yeah, and it's probably, and if it's not a first time, it's the listing agent who didn't properly go over it.
Correct.
With them. So,
Have you ever had an incident with a for sale by owner that refused to pay for repairs with a type of loan, like with FHA or VA?
luckily, I don't think we've had anything major. There's always been the occasional, if it was an FHA loan with, hey, you know, paint this or this chip
Right.
paint on the trim, or they're gonna require a handrail over here. I haven't had anything where it didn't get done because of a certain condition.
That's good to hear.
Usually I will say, usually the ones we've been involved with haven't been a distressed or a problem property where ahead of time we wouldn't notify them of that. But like, a good point about that is we do, that's one thing, if I have a buyer that does want to buy for sale by owner, it's like, hey, be careful. If these things are called out by an appraiser, they have to be fixed and paid for by the seller. And a lot of times we have that conversation, if you're gonna scare them off in the beginning,
Right.
before you get too far into it. But I think related to all that about the money, kind of going back to what Jeff said, it's telling the seller, hey, you say you maybe don't, your reason for not listening is you don't want to pay this number.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if obviously I think I can sell your house for X, and your check that you're gonna get at closing is more than if you did it on your own,
Right.
what do you care what you paid? I mean, you care what, you know, it's you want to
A
get.
lot of people are like, you know, a good question would be, you know, this is the 5th house I've sold by myself, Jeff. Why would I hire you?
I agree. I certainly appreciate you being honest with me. You know, and that's great that you've sold 5 houses on your own, but you know.
Hell, I'd ask him, why don't you get your damn license, man?
Exactly.
Sounds like you know what you're doing.
No shit. I'm like, what are you, a nomad? What's going on with selling 5 out? Yeah.
You know, there's a script for that. You know, and you know if that topic comes up, you know, if they do live here locally, and you know, I could ask them about past property they sold. I would ask them, you know, how much did you sell it for? Let's say they sold it for $315. I would say, oh, that's it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I guess my, you know, I'm not obviously on that side of the business, but like anything else, no one says they can't sell their house. They can sell their house every, you know, they can sell 10 houses by themselves.
Good point, yeah.
But are they getting the right dollar amount?
Correct.
If they could, and I'm not saying they never can, but if they can get the same or higher sales price without using an agent, okay,
Go for it. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
in those cases,
It's like, are you a retired real estate agent?
And my thing is, especially with the market now, you guys know this better than I do, being on that side, but aside from a cookie cutter condo that everything's exactly the same floor, next to the same, you know, where you're kind of, you know, you're kind of stuck on what the price is going to be. There's not a lot of variance.
Well, exactly. If they're
If conditions are the same,
and-
they're all the
yeah.
same, and it's, you know.
Like a military base, all the
Exactly.
houses are the same. Yeah.
But houses, I mean, you might think your bedrooms are the same size as somebody else. You might think your kitchen is the same level as somebody else's, your yard. There are so many things that go into it.
There's a lot of
that change
variances.
the price 10, 20, 30, 40,000 that they might not be aware of. So I'd be like, yeah, you sold 5 on your own, congratulations.
Yeah.
You can maybe sell 6, but if I can sell your 6 and you walk away with 10 grand more, why not at least have a conversation about it?
Yeah, I totally agree. So we're gonna wrap up a little bit here. We were just talking away, y'all. We've been at it for almost 30
I
minutes.
love it.
I know. So we're in bonus lightning round.
When does the game show start?
Right now.
That was perfect timing.
You know, price is right, but
All right, for sell by owner calls or a high school reunion?
as far as the next question or what you want to
Like,
do?
what would you rather do?
I'd rather, I mean, I like public functions. I love people. I mean,
I'm going high school.
I would rather, here's how I look at it. Look,
I love
mean, like, rejection is just something you have to overcome.
Well,
because
high school reunions could be rejection
They-
from your past.
They could, but you gotta look at it like this though. If
Right?
you-
I'd love to see everybody.
If you get down the scripts, and it takes practice, okay? If you get down the scripts and approach these people, you've been talking for sub-owners, now you're past high school, graduates. If you approach these people showing them value, let's say you make, for sub-owner expired calls, 3 days a week for 2 hours, okay? And you get, let's say you get 2 appointments a week, and you get, let's just say, you get 2 signings a month from for sale by owners, that's 24 deals a year, all for sale by owners, okay? To answer Claudine's question, I would rather make money
Mhm.
than go see people that I really don't
Don't
really
want to
care
see.
about.
Yeah, true that. Sorry. Now I'm just I'm gonna preface here. I love all my high school people.
Yeah.
Just saying, but I see the ones I want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what's important. The most important thing to me is obviously family and stuff like that. But one of my goals, why I really start hammering these people raising their hands saying I want to sell my house is because I have a 2.5-year-old granddaughter, and if I can really approach these people and really convert them, I could potentially save a bunch. Me and my wife could potentially save a lot of money for her future.
Good answer. Would you rather sit through a cold call to a FSBO or a 3-hour Zoom training learning how to call FSBOs?
Well, I can teach you how to.
Yeah, I think I'd rather just
It's-
call. Yeah.
I'd live by fire and just do it. I
And-
can listen to somebody do it.
Right.
Tell me how to do it. I'd rather just do it.
And and when I call these people, like it's and I go by our managing director, Ben Schreiber, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Let them talk, let them tell you as much information as possible, and, you know, just listen to them. And, you know, part of my script is, you know, let's say in 7 to 14 days that, you know, you're still sitting on Zillow, would it be stupid of me to ask, can we potentially continue this conversation?
I need to start calling FSBOs in Indiana.
And I can teach you how to do it. It's not hard.
I do. It takes a lot of guts to call a FSBO, that's for sure.
Yep.
I would say it takes a lot, but as far as you can't find a more captive potential audience that's
Absolutely not
trying to sell their
So
house.
it's like, how do you hype yourself up? You know, is it a pep talk, tequila, both? What do you do? You know,
I listen to
Red Bull.
my three favorite.
Right.
I
All the
listen to my
candy.
3 favorite songs, and I just start dialing. And you might get no when when you're going for the appointment. You might get no, F off,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, and then that leads me to another question, and for both of you, because, you know, as a lender, granted, you know, you deal with agents pretty much 95% of the time, right? Is that?
It's such a
I know it is. You're here, aren't you, Scott? You love us. So it's
the appearance fee I couldn't turn down.
I know, right? It's just too much
Just like
fun.
appearance fee.
I know, it's too much
Wait, you're
fun.
getting paid?
Like,
What? You are?
and beer.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, but it's dealing with sellers that think that their house is worth more than what it really is. And then again, you know, we've all been there to where if there's an appraisal gap, or, you know, I've priced houses too high before. I mean,
Sure.
it happens. Seller has the last call on that. But how would you handle, I mean, I know with the appraisal gap as far as with lending, how that would go, but as an agent, when you have that appraisal gap, telling a seller, and a FSBO would look at me and say, I knew you were a scam,
Yeah.
because they feel that their house was worth more. And when you have a relationship with a lender that is, that buyer might be using or whatever have you, how do you all handle situations when they're like, I knew it, I knew that you did this to me? And
Well, when the appraisal comes in lower, you're mentioning that, and at times the appraisers will feel I'm wrong, but it is very subjective. You know, it's a very inexact method. But the times that they have come in low, we always, as far as the lending side, we'll go to both agents. It's okay. You know, of course, the selling side might that's low. You know, they think it's always more.
Right.
And it may be. Okay, then if you don't like the comps, the comparables that are used on this report, either you think the comparables wrong, which ones do you think are better? You know,
Right.
show me.
Right.
Or if we think that adjustments are wrong, then let's have discussion about that as well. But usually if you go back and, let's say it is a for sale by owner. Oh, that appraisal came in too low. Okay, well, give me some other houses in your neighborhood or around that you think we should have used.
Right.
Put the proof on them. You know, put the onus on them. to-
9 times out of 10, I don't think they did the
Usually doesn't come
comparables.
up.
So,
Yeah.
but anyways, well, you guys, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. And you have anything else that you can think of that you
I
would
wanna
like
know
to
what the
say?
sound effects are on that thing.
There's a lot of sound effects.
They're fun.
You know, you go cold from sold, and it's nice that, Jeff, that you're very passionate about, for sale by owners. And, you know, it's answering fast, no backpedaling, and
If-
telling the FSBOs not necessarily what they might wanna hear,
I
but
think
the actual
what
facts.
Jeff is good at is if you are gonna go after, and it's any type of marketing, but any type of direct, whether it's cold calling for sale by owners or cold anything, is you can't be afraid of rejection.
Right.
Not everyone's a yes, or everybody would do it. And you have, every time you hear a no, I know it's gonna sound cliche, but every time you get a no, you're that much closer to a yes. It's a numbers
That's
game.
it.
You know the figures on it, and no matter what it is, there's always a track record that you make 10 calls, you get this, you do this, you get this many appointments, and you get this many listings, you get this many sales. It's all a numbers game. No matter what business you're in, no matter what side of the fence we're on,
Yeah,
everything is a numbers game. And if you
Right.
track it, and I think you probably track it very well, if you track it and you'll see it and you believe it, you might tell yourself, yes, if I make 100 calls, I'm gonna get 12 people to answer, and I have 2 appointments, I'm getting a listing.
Absolutely.
If you know that, then you just
Right.
make yourself do it so that
So,
you eventually hit those numbers.
It's so funny. I'll sit here behind a microphone and videotape when I used to not like doing that. But I am one that I'll make the damn calls. I don't like doing it. I don't
Nobody
like doing
does.
it.
But you have to remember
At all.
something. Real estate is sales. That's
Correct.
what it is.
Yep.
And if you don't have like a
Do you leave a voicemail or do you vanish?
I do leave a voicemail. Hi,
Okay.
my name's Jeff. I'm calling about your house for sale. Give me a call.
Gotcha.
I do not tell them I'm a realtor. And they usually call me back. And if you want to script, we can script. You want to?
Yeah, I think we should. I
Go
need to
ahead.
get Indiana rolling.
Act like a seller. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello.
Hi, Claudine. Or no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, Claudine. My name's Jeff. I'm a local
How the hell
realtor.
did you know my name?
I saw it on the MLS.
Oh, that's right.
But hey, I'm a local realtor, and I already probably understand you already hate me. But you know,
Click.
yeah. I always say, do you want to hang up, or would you give me a minute and tell you when I
I'm
call?
teasing you. Go ahead, Jeff.
Call back.
Sorry.
Hey, once
Yeah.
I got disconnected.
Yeah, it's on.
We'll go ahead and do it again.
Hello.
Hi, Claudine. This is Jeff. I'm a local realtor in the area. Before you hang up, would you give me 30 seconds to a minute to tell you
All
why I
right,
called?
you got 30 seconds. Go.
All right, perfect. Hey, I'm looking at the house on Zillow. It's priced well, so I'm assuming you have multiple offers or the home is sold. Would that be fair?
Maybe.
So do you have any offers?
I don't know if I should tell you if I do or not.
Okay, well, let's just say you do. You know, is the home still available or is it sold?
It's not sold.
It's not sold, perfect. So, you know, were the offers too low, or did you not get any offers, or was it something else?
You know what? I don't know if I feel comfortable discussing this with you.
And that's fine. Do you want to continue the call, or do you want to hang up?
I'm a little intrigued though, I'm not gonna lie.
You're a little intrigued? Okay. And look, I know you've gotten a lot of calls from realtors, but I
You're
honestly...
about my 20th one.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, there's a lot of realtors that, you know, they approach you as a seller as you're doing the wrong thing. But I just wanted to call you and, you know, I'm on Zillow, and, you know, this might sound like a weird question, but I'm actually looking at the pictures now, and you're in a prime location. You know, is there any, why don't you guys just stay there, or do you have to sell it? I mean, it looks like you have everything you need.
I'm downsizing.
Oh, gotcha. You already have a place picked out?
I already bought it.
You already bought it? Okay, perfect. So look, you know, let's, you know, today's July 10th. Let's say I give you a call back on July 17th. Would you be completely opposed to us having this conversation?
No, I'm all right. I'll give you that. That's fine.
Perfect. Hey, let's just pretend that you and I met tomorrow, and I walked you through my marketing plan, my seller incentive program, and you strongly believed that I could, number one, eliminate the stress of you selling on your own, and number two, the most important thing, is netting you the money you need at the close of escrow.
I'm willing to give you that opportunity. Let's discuss it.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, it sounds like you agree with everything I'm saying. Is there any reason why you wouldn't want to meet sooner?
Well, no, I mean, come on over tomorrow. That works. Let's do it.
Okay, I have Friday at 5, or I can do Saturday at 1.
Let's do Saturday at 1.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot you.
You're messing with my happy hour at Friday at 5.
Oh, sorry.
And if you're really not there, she will not be available on Saturday.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go
Hey
ahead.
now.
I'm gonna go ahead and send you my resume. Would you just delete it, or would you? I
No, I want to look at it. If you're coming into my house, I want to know who's coming into my house.
Absolutely. All right, I'll see you at 1 on Saturday. What's a good email for you?
Blah, 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 blah.
Perfect. I'll see you then, and if you have any other questions, you know, feel free to give me a call. It's not a sales pitch. I'm not coming over to, you know, expect you to sign anything with me. I just want to sit down with you as a real person, obviously have a real conversation on how we could potentially work together. And if you don't like what I say during our appointment, that's completely fine. I hope you would be honest with me, because
Oh, I'm very transparent.
perfect, because there's a lot of agents out there that will tell you what you want to hear. Number two, I want to be honest with you, and you know, I'm looking forward to meeting you and your husband at 1 on Saturday.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Scott, you have any other insights that you want to put in here before we wrap this up?
No, I think the point of everybody's gonna have their own, as far as agents,
That was good, Jeff, by the way, sorry.
Everybody's gonna have their own words that you. I mean, obviously description involved, but you use your own words. You talk how you want to. What Jeff does well is it's not salesmanship. It doesn't come off as salesy.
Right.
It's hey, you already sold it.
Hey,
right?
what's
You already have
up?
it, and-
Yeah.
And okay, are you at least open to have a conversation? Are you open to have a conversation? If you don't like my conversation, you don't like my paperwork, no hard feelings. I
I've
just
never
want a
seen
chance.
these two so serious in my
And-
life.
and
I'm
I
trying
like
to get them to laugh and stuff, and they're not doing any of it.
Another thing you do,
I
another
like
thing you
it.
say is, I'm trying to think,
How'd you know her husband? She never mentioned you.
I know, right? I was gonna say that, but it was like
when you,
we're going way over.
when I first started calling them, I would want to do a preview first, but now I go for the appointment. And, you know, you simply approach them and and you gotta bring it up to them. You know, when you ask for the appointment, you have to do a pattern interrupt, which is this. Both you and I know that you aren't gonna do anything that makes sense, correct?
Maybe.
Okay. So, you know, if everything makes sense and I show you the numbers and I go through what I do different than most agents, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to meet this weekend?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always, I'm always down for the appointment. You know what I'm
You have to
saying? It's like,
anticipate the objections. You
Right.
know what the objections are up front, and he's not checking those off on that phone call.
what does really suck, in my opinion, is when you do get that appointment and you tell them what you feel the listing price should be, and they don't use you and they use another agent because they're listing it higher, but guess what it's sold for? Exactly. what you comped it at.
And when you
That sucks.
When you sit down with these people, you have to make them fully aware the market is changing. It's not COVID anymore, and pricing is
Yeah.
so critical.
Well, and it's sitting. Things are sitting longer.
Right.
They're not selling. Very few things are selling in a day.
And
Another thing I do, I don't consider you as my seller. I consider you as my employer.
Correct.
And I'm your
Yeah.
employee for this amount of the contract time. And the reason why I went non-handcuff listing agreements is if you feel that Jeff sucks at his job, you can fire me, and I would hope that you would share with me what you think that I did
Exactly.
wrong to not look out for your best interest.
You know, I have called people back that didn't use me as their agent, and they wouldn't answer the phone and they didn't call me back.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm purely calling you to know what I did wrong so I
Yeah.
can correct what I did.
Absolutely.
So, and not tooting my own horn, but I haven't lost many, but the ones that I have lost, I called, and they never
Well,
called me back.
Yeah.
Never called
to
me
go back to
back.
what you said about if you lose a listing to someone who overpromises
Mhm.
a price, sets false expectations, it's like any business. That's going to happen.
It
If
does.
You're going to lose business
Yeah.
because someone promised them, or hey, no, you might say 300, and someone else is saying 340, and ends up selling for 300. I would have the conversation with them. Say, listen, do me a favor.
Yeah,
If this ends up happening like we thought it should be, just remember I'm the one who told you that first.
correct.
It's just, and those people that bait and switch happen on the lending side, well, this guy told me I get a 4% rate.
And
He
you
said-
get that too,
Yeah, he said,
absolutely.
okay, it's gonna happen, just when it does change during the process,
Yeah.
just remember I'm the one who told you accurate information being
Yeah.
and you'll never go wrong in business giving people accurate information.
Absolutely, because you know
lose a
what,
few,
my
you
head
lose a
goes,
few.
my head goes on the pillow and sleeps at night, because I'm not over promising and I'm not lying to
Long-term
future
good
clients,
business.
so,
Long-term good business, you'll always come out on top.
you right?
Another good thing when you pull up, when you're on a FSBO call, just let them know, hey, I'm looking at the photos right now, it's priced well. By the way, who took your photos? They look fantastic.
Right. Complimenting is always,
So you want them to think
Mhm.
that they are doing the right approach, and then, like I
Well,
said.
the goal is not to make them feel stupid.
Correct.
And that's what they're used to getting.
Right.
Hey, those pictures, there's shadows there, you didn't do this. And as you're complimenting the pictures, let's say they are good pictures, you're like,
Right.
then you say, hey, here's one thing I would do different. You have a beautiful backyard, you only took one picture from this angle.
Like, let's do some more.
I would show
Right.
this. Hey, my
Yeah.
clients seem to like this, market research
Totally.
has shown this. And then, feed off what you think they're already doing right,
Right.
just how you can enhance it a little bit.
All right, guys, you know what? We are 45 minutes into this, so we're going to wrap it up.
Cool.
You know, I debated about how long to make these podcasts, and I think that we really hit a lot of good information on for sale by owners.
Sure.
And we'll post this and hope for the best and see what happens. So
You did hit record this time, right?
it better have recorded. It says it's 45 minutes, and say, well, that one's recording. Scott, don't scare me like that. Tag on it. Alrighty, so Jeff Taylor, Scott Simpson, thank you very much for being on What the Hell Are We Going to Call This Podcast?
That's a good name.
So I think that's what I'm going to call it.
It's
Or
called-
what's this damn podcast called? I still haven't decided.
It's called FSBO equals fastest source of business opportunity. And make sure you work with the best lender if you're going to go this route. Look out for your best interest.
It's a long title.
Peace out. And until next time, we'll
Thanks,
see ya.
guys. Bye.
Thanks.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
So when
The
Brian,
sound's good. I like the sound of it.
yeah, Brian goes, I didn't think I'd have any fun. That was a blast. And I'm like, you can get carried away, and that's why I'm like, shit, we need to wrap
Well,
this
you have
up.
to learn. It's the
It's
first-
like it's
the first
45
time.
minutes.
He's scared to get out of his comfort zone.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
He goes, I had a blast. He talked more than Karen and I.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He talked and talked and talked. I said, for somebody who said they weren't going to be talking, and he's like, I know. But
No,
it'll take me a good few days to get
but
this
it'll take all
edited.
this time to learn how to do this better. You usually.
Oh, absolutely.
sure, yeah.
Oh, and editing. I've learned a lot on CapCut of how to edit this to get the. Oh shit! Gotta shut that off.